Welcome to STL City Showdown. I'm AJ and I'm joined by Steve and Andre. I wanted to start off, you guys, on Spotify. We hit 1,000 listens, and that's just on Spotify alone. That's not including all the other things. So that, hats off to you guys. You guys have been great. Andre's newer with us. When did you join us? Was it around, week 3 or 4 this year?
I think it was the first game. No, I think it was before the first game.
No, you're right. Preseason, because we had our predictions.
Right, because we did predictions. Yeah, that's right.
How did I forget your horrible prediction that Klaus was going to be the leading scorer?
Damn. He's tied for third, baby. He's tied for third.
With one.
At some point, own goals might actually catch up with Klaus. Okay, guys. By the way, if you guys haven't seen Steve's hat there, if you guys are watching on YouTube, if you're not, what we're seeing here is this embroidered hat. It looks like he's got like this IKEA, I don't know, is it like a fisherman hat or something like that? And I believe you hand embroidered it, correct?
I did. I'm a crafty dude.
This dude has more talent than our team right now.
Oh, man. I thought I was better than that. Shit, man. I thought I was, gotta edit that, man. I can at least duplicate this a couple times a week.
Okay, we shouldn't be so harsh on the team. The team actually scored a couple goals this game, so we got to give them some credit.
Okay. We purposely scored a goal. Toychur's foot scored another one accidentally. So, okay, Celio scored a banger, a golazo. That was an amazing goal. Toychur fell into a goal. So,
yeah. Well, tell you what, our first game is going to be high, mid, low. So we're each going to take one, and we'll just kind of start with it. I'll say my high was Celio. The second that we saw line up, I was like, yes, finally, he's starting. He deserves to start. Of course, I would love to think that they actually wanted him to start, but there was also whatever this Horn issue is. We haven't heard it's supposed to hit in post-game a conference, which hasn't started yet. But it sounds like there's something going on with Horn, and it's not an injury. I would have loved that Celio had started based on his abilities, and they thought he was like the person to start over Horn, but probably not. However, Celio definitely proved offensively how great he is. Steve was mentioning at the beginning, like pre-recording, that there was often times that Celio was being double-teamed. Right?
Yeah. I mean, it seems like as soon as Andre was saying it too, as soon as he touched the ball, there were 2 Kansas players right on top of him, which it's a pretty good sign for they're respecting his talent for sure.
Yeah, he's great with 1v1. We saw some great moves by Celio, and that goal, man, that was great. I wish we could see more of that, and hopefully he starts future games. But they're going to prefer Horn, especially since he's more defensive. What do you guys rate for high, mid, low?
Just to kind of piggyback on Pompeo, I wanted to say that, yeah, he is high, right? But I do think he's also like a mid-high. The thing about Celio is that expression, live by the sword, die by the sword, right? As good as he is offensively, he can be a liability defensively. And that's why I think we see Horn in there, right? And you touched on that. So, yeah, I agree with kind of what you're saying. I get a kick when I see him out there, mostly because we're not, at this point, we're just trying to see some life out of the team. So, and me to beat on a dead horse. And as you talked earlier, my prediction was that Klaus was going to be like, the score, me, he's low right now, There are several times where, like, he had a shot, and for some reason, he passed it to no one. And I was like, dude, what's going on here? Like, you're getting paid to take the shot, buddy. So he's kind of my low, Sorry, I had to balance off your high.
Hey, that's okay.
Well, I guess I will take the middle ground here, literally, for the mid. And I got to say it. Berkey is my mid here. Dude did not see that many shots. And at least one of those looks like he was laid on. So, like, I wasn't super impressed by what I saw of him tonight. I saw a couple of decent saves. I did not see anything that was stunning. And dare I say, kind of miss having Lunt out there. Angry
Talk
Berkey's
about
not
a
worth
hot
it.
take.
Angry Berkey's not worth it if we're giving up 2 goals where maybe Luke could have stopped them. So like,
Bengals.
Oh, man, that's like playing with fire here.
Right. So do we give? He's coming off an injury, right? He's been kind of cold, right? So when we say these high lows, are we talking like dynamic, where like it changes, like the stock market, or is it what we think is going to be going forward?
nah, I'm thinking just this just this match.
Okay.
Berkey wasn't great.
Okay.
Berkey wasn't horrible. He was just meh, and that's what I'm saying. It's meh. I'm not even mid. It's just meh. Like, he was just present. He was my C. I would have given him a C if this was for a grade.
Great.
Like, he's just there.
At the very beginning,
Like the rest of
I'll
this
have to point
team.
out his passing was not great. There was even one pass that he just choked up right to the attacker. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was literally like, I think in the first 4 minutes. The passing wasn't great. Now, surprisingly, it wasn't just him. The passing on this whole team was not great. If I had to say something, like if I had to say a mid, I probably would say passing, because there was some passing. I was like, oh my gosh, like you guys are making some great passes. There was some nice through balls, but then there was just some really, really bad, sucky passes, like horrible. Like there was no pace on them. It felt like they were passing just for the sake of passing. There was no conviction on them. It was just atrocious.
So
it absolutely was.
Yeah, I mean, I think Andre had brought it up before, like, talk about passing. I remember having some recordings last year, AJ, where it's like some games this team could pass so well. The rest of the week, the rest of the games, horrible passing. So Fop Mob scores different passing angles, and own half, opposition half, or final third. What do you guys think our highest passing percentage rate was in one of those three? Own half, opposition half, or final third?
Which one? Our own.
Which one do you think we had the highest?
Probably own half.
92% of our passes were in the.
You know why?
214 passes were in the own half.
You know why? Because all we do is pass backwards.
Yeah.
We never try to find somebody forward, which I have some theories on. And we just pass back to the goalie or the center back or the other center back. I mean, I know this team likes center backs, but at some point you actually got to progress to the midfield.
Yeah. What I was thinking is, and this is because I had a question that I want to pose for you guys, so maybe I won't say anything. I'll just kind of hold off and give my take then. But I do think part of it might be tied to the fact that our passing is terrible because we don't have any offensive players, and it's not putting any fear into the other team.
You know, and maybe that's why we see a lot of double teaming on Celio, because how are we going to get the ball to, say, our striker, which right now is just claws? Well, you clog up that ability to pass over, and it's just impossible. So that's probably why he took the shot himself tonight, because it was just like, gotta produce it myself. And like when Klaus had a couple of decent passes to him, he either took a wild shot or didn't even take the shot. So it was a little frustrating.
Yeah, do you guys have any other high, mid, or lows that you're dying to tell us all?
So, like, I'm a teacher, so I like to use visuals. So, like, we have weeks without a win. 8. Oh, no. I went away. Class.
So right now he just erased the board. Oh,
Now we're up to 9 weeks without a win. That's
so for those listening, his board says weeks without a win. He scratched out at 8 and put a 9. It kind of reminds you of like how many days since the last accident, and
Yeah, that's
then
what I
like
was-
there's a
that's-
comic.
yep.
Yeah,
usually we like when numbers go up, except when we're not winning. When those keep going up, we don't like that.
guess what?
Yo,
We almost that number 9. The weeks without win is almost the same number as goals that we have, which is 11.
this is great. This is a
Was it-
good time.
Does that
make you feel good?
Isn't it the same number of weeks that Carnell won without a win before he got the X?
I have to go back and check, but
Oh man, that would be a spicy take online, man. If you posted that on like Reddit, oh my gosh, that would have so many comments. Man, you guys are like
Just
feisty
saying,
tonight.
man. Well, okay. Yeah, I mean, so the other one where I guess I'm just confused right now, right? Because I don't know if I want to. For now, I'm going to put them at mid because I don't know where to put them as high or low. Is not Lund, Lutz and Olaf, because this is obviously, I think, a talented team, but we can't do anything with it. You know, we've seen moments of greatness, and then we just see them collapse, right? So I'm very confused as to which way I want to go with this.
I can help you out.
So you're saying low right now?
It's a fucking low. It's so low. Oh my god, it's so low. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. I don't know.
We did talk about it last week that a lot of these players that let us put together, right, our contract is up at the end of the season, right? So whether they get an option or they seek out greener pastures, we'll kind of know if he's still around what kind of team we're going to have next year.
Okay, so how about this? I have let's go to our next game, and I know Andre has a lot of questions, but I'm going to lead you to a question. So this segment is called What You Think, and this is the question I have for you guys. How comfortable do you feel right now with Lutz going into the off season now with almost like a huge turnover? We have a lot of players that are leaving contract. Do you trust him to sign the players that are leaving that we should resign, or finding the players? Are you guys like trembling in your boots? Are you even more afraid that potentially Olaf's our skipper for next year and we have to deal with his style? Because the problem is if we get all the players for Olaf's system and we sign him for 3 years and then we fire him next year, we're stuck with all those players.
Yeah.
So how comfortable are you guys? What you think?
I'm not comfortable at all. We've now had 2 off seasons. We're going to our pretty much our second. Actually, no, we're going to our third summer transfer. Nothing happened in the first one. We discussed it because we were on such a high, and the budget was probably not there. But we saw what he's done now. 3 at least winter windows and 2 summer. Well, coming into 2 summer transfers, and here we are where we are. Where does the buck stop? How high does it go? Like he puts the team together. This team is not a good team. It's on him. I don't know. It's him. So I am not confident that going into another offseason, he'll somehow magically find it. I don't know. Something just seems off where he's just not. I don't know. I don't know what the difference was from where he came from, but I'm not confident at all.
I want to go tangentially and just, talk about something else before I come back to it. But at work, we're concerned that if they enact different policies, we would lose a lot of people, right? And the people that we would lose that can get a job elsewhere are the people that we kind of want. They're the talented people, right? The ones that would stick around are the ones that can't go anywhere else. Keep that in mind, is that I'm saying I don't know that he can attract talent. I think in the beginning, it's a expansion team, new to the league. I think now that they kind of see how things operate here, who would want to come here? So I don't know that he can attract talent. As far as re-signing the ones we have here, that might be easier because they already have roots in the ground. They might be living here. They might, have kids here. I don't know, but
yeah. The only thing
That's a good point.
The only thing I'll say with the talent thing is Kansas got Jovilich to come from LA to Kansas with money. So with money, we'll get some dudes here. They'll magically buy a coat, to come here. By the way, I just checked. Carnell was fired right before July, and that was after 9 straight weeks without a win. But like I said, he ain't getting fired. But yeah, that's a nice little fact there. That is a cool little fact that Carnell went 9 games in a row without a win, and he was canned. And they're doing the post game right now.
Oh, okay. Steve, I got to correct you on something. You said that, you could buy players with money. I don't think St. Louis has any money. I don't think they have GAM. I don't think they have any DP slots left or TAM or anything like that, right? Like, we're completely poor. We don't have any options, right?
Well, for now, at the end of the season...
I'm obviously joking.
Right, well...
We have like $2 million in GAM, I believe.
Yeah.
All right. Andre, you had some questions?
Yeah, I do. But quickly going back to that, just because you get a good player doesn't mean you have a good team. you win as a team.
That's true.
Even as much as you pay the dude from KC, right? They're down there with us in the bottom of the league, right? And that's not what we're here to watch. We're here to kind of want to see a complete product out there. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. Yeah, you could pay for all these players, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's not going to get the fan base riled up. And if it does, it's just momentarily. But I did have some questions for you guys, like what you're thinking here. So
Cool.
And we kind of touched on some of these earlier, right? So the passing attack was really, it's bad out there, right? And we rank bottom 6 in the league as far as passing percentage goes, right? So now, do you guys think that that's a sign of poor talent? Is that poor conditioning? Or is that poor coaching? And as a fourth one I want to throw in there, is it, I guess it goes back to poor talent. Is it because we lack any offensive weapons that can scare anybody?
What do you think, Steve?
I think it's poor coaching. It's poor coaching. This team is, a lot of players are getting hurt and they don't have the right skills, so I would think that it is poor coaching. You could coach players to do better. Like, I thought at the very beginning of this season, our passing seemed good. Like, it seemed where we had that tight defense, it seemed the passing was all right. We were doing crosses, we were doing kind of deep passes, we were discussing how well the passing was, and then it just all kind of fell apart. So it's probably coaching. Again, with this damn team, it's coaching.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say coaching too, because here's the thing about soccer. One of the biggest strategies is that you have 11 players and the field is huge. You can't have players everywhere. You have to decide, do you want to overload the defensive side? Do you want to overload the midfield? Do you want to overload the attacking side? And furthermore, you got to decide, are you going to play with width or do you want to play more narrow? So for instance, even a 4-4-2, a traditional 4-4-2 where you have a flat 4 where they just go line across the field, that's a very wide versus having like more of a diamond where you overload more of the midfield. It's just a different strategy. So the thing is that we have decided that we want to reinforce the defense. I think everybody knows that. Even the Apple announcers today noticed that our midfield is bare. When you looked at it, and once they said it, I just couldn't stop staring at it. It's like saying, like, you have like a friend and they got like some kind of weird bald spot or some weird skin lesion on their face, and somebody points it out, and then all you can do is stare at it. Same kind of thing. We never had very many people in the midfield. It was super absent.
Yeah.
Like, we had the people on the wings, so like Celio and Valum and Watts, that's who I'm thinking, Watts, was definitely moving along the sides, but a lot of times our guys were all pushed forward, and I think Andre had said earlier is that if it wasn't for like Celio, who was going to get the ball? But the problem is where was Celio going to pass? You just had to hope he just kind of kicked a long ball, switched it, or happened to defeat 2-on-1. So that's why I think personally coaching.
Yeah. I think we're definitely missing our bulldog in the midfield with Lubin. I think we're missing we're missing that midfield. And it would be good to get those cats back.
Okay. So, while we're on somewhat of this tangential topic here, you guys noticed today Celio had that nice goal, but he was double teaming quite a bit, right? So now, is that a sign of a rising star? Or is that just KC knowing that that's our only threat and they're going to take him out? Now, mind you, he was being double teamed. Back to the passing thing. That means someone else had more space, right? And we didn't take advantage of that. It's hard to do that against double team, but if we had more players like that, would we stretch that field more? But anyways, back to the original question. Celio, rising star or just Kansas City trying to take away our only offensive weapon?
I think they were taking him out. When you've got a football team where you know that they can't pass, you're going to stack the box. And this is what they did. There's no offense. We don't really score, so you just overload on one guy. They found him. They left him open. He scored early, but then it was just shut right down. So yeah, they were just targeting him, obviously.
Yeah, I think this goes back to the previous question, is because we didn't have people in the midfield, they didn't have to defend as much there, and all they had to worry about is the wing backs. And I think just by natural, like, what's the guy going to do? Just like have somebody go 1v1 by like the other defenders just sitting there saying, oh, you got him. No, they're going to go help out because they have nobody else to defend. I think that's what it was more than anything. And the other thing is like the answer to every fan is get better players. I still go back to what Steve had said earlier is I believe we have good players. Like we saw it last year. We saw some sparks. We saw some progression in the ball, some build up and stuff like that. It's just that what's changed. I mean, sometimes you can't always get the best of the best. Like you have to make do with what you got. You know, as a small business owner, like I know that like when you hire people, like, yeah, everybody always wants to hire that person that is like the best ever for that position. Well, sometimes, unfortunately, you don't get the best person, but you have to try to make them the best for what they can be in that particular position. It's more about leadership than it is anything else. So I don't think necessarily they recognize Celio as some like rising talent. I just think the defenders had nothing else to do because we didn't, provide them a challenge in the midfield.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're soft.
Cool. Asked and answered. Did you guys like Celio's impersonation of Durkin today when he was buddying up with Suleimanov from Kansas? Man, they were really in each other's face today.
Yeah, well, that guy was running his mouth and he was insulting the fans, and Celio looked like he wasn't putting up with it. I like that. It doesn't come off. It's like a little guy trying to take on the big bully, but like at least you had some passion there. At least that's some bulletin board stuff for both teams to be able to show like the hot-headedness. But also what I'll say is at the end of that match, Berkey had to run up there and try to shut that shit down because that's what Kansas wanted. Kansas wanted us to lose our composure at the end of the game and burn away that extra time in order to stop scoring. And if you saw that, we only had one play left, and the guy blew the whistle, so they got what they wanted out of it. But I did like that. I did like that tough guy attitude.
I kind of miss Stroud from the first season. Somebody that was always feisty, just kind of irritating the other players. I don't mind players like messing with each other as long as it's professional and you're not, using discriminatory slurs. I think like Minnesota, like one of their players got suspended for 3 games for stuff like that. Like that crosses the line. But especially if it's playful kind of banter or you're just kind of trying to get under people's skin a little bit, I actually kind of like it a little bit.
Yeah, again, I think one of the topics, the issue that I've been harping on for the last week is that our team seems to lose its cool. I think this game, it was nice to see Celio keep his cool, but still just kind of dig into him. I don't know. I really enjoyed that part of it, All right, so Torture's goal. Just a fluke, or do you think it requires some skill to get in position?
So I would say he was in the right spot, but we all saw it. That was a fluke, but it counts. Just like an own goal would count. It counts, we'll take it, but even he was like, oh my God, I scored. Like sometimes you accidentally catch the fish, and he caught it.
Yeah, but sometimes you got to throw that line in the water and not just sit at the dock. I mean, at least we got the ball into the attacking third, and we kind of serviced it into the box, and then sometimes things happen. It's like in hockey, especially like on the power play. They just dance around the perimeter. They don't do anything. And then you're like, just shoot at net. Because sometimes you send it to the net and weird things happen. It deflects off of somebody. You just get a lucky deflection, just something. I would say, even though there was some luck involved there, I would say there was still some skill.
Well, in Dungeons and Dragons, luck is a skill. So that's how I feel about it.
And this is the guy who plays Rogue, of course.
All right, guys, cool. So the next questions are not as lighthearted, but when looking at a roster, right, are our players as good? Do we think our players are good compared to the rest of the league, or do we just think they're good compared to the rest of our team?
Yeah, man, I have to think about this one. I would say like a lot of our players are comparable or definitely up there. They could be, like, individually. Like, if you take Leuven individually, Leuven's very talented. Like, when he really gets some of his moves going, it's super impressive. Hartel, he's also the same way. He's super impressive. I love the bottom of his boot kick near the beginning of the game where he drew a foul after that. Like, that takes a lot of skill. Toycher, I'm sorry, how do we say this now? Toy Kurt. Okay.
Toy Kurt.
Yeah. Okay, we got to learn it properly, I guess. But he's actually a good player. I wouldn't say he's like the best in MLS, but he's actually a good player. But he sucks this year, or at least he doesn't seem like he's performing. Why? I mean, maybe it was false advertisement and we didn't get what we expected, or is this something else? Wow, what do you think, Steve?
Yeah. It seems when players leave our coaching staff and our training staff and they go on to other teams, they seem to do a lot better. They seem to really improve once they leave us. So I think we do have some decent players. I think we could be a 9th, 8th, 7th, 8th, 9th place team if we had decent training people around them. And right now we don't. So I would say that this team is probably a middle of the pack team. It's a mid-sized city. That's probably what we get. But no, we've got a 14th place team because of coaching.
So let me ask you guys this then. Let's piggyback off of Andre's question. Do you think we are under, over, or adequately performing? So are we underperforming, or is this we performing as our talent is dictating?
God, we better be underperforming, because if we are performing right where we should, then this is a pathetic group of ownership then. Yep. Pathetic ownership and leadership if this is what we should be. I don't think it is. I think we have to believe that we have to do a little copium and believe that we are underperforming, or that is a sad, sad state of affairs. And I could do something better with my day on Tuesday and Saturday, sometimes Wednesdays.
Andre's got that face going.
So, well, I don't know. When you say underperforming, do you mean like just based on talent? Because, they say, I think Einstein said that if you judge a fish's intelligence by its ability to climb a tree, it's pretty stupid, right? But if you judge it by its ability to swim, well, then, it's a different rating, right? So are we saying that we're performing when we factor in like the coaching and the training, or do we remove that from the equation, right? Because like if you're using players improperly, right, then I mean at the beginning of the season I kept talking about I'm trying to see what kind of identity does this team have. Are we like trying to keep attacking? Are we a defensive team? Now it seems like we're neither,
Right. We don't have an
And
identity.
if we're gonna say that we're underperforming,
Yeah.
right, yeah, our identity is to choke, right?
Yeah.
It's just to
Yep.
get the Heimlich maneuver ready, and that's evident in the last 3 games, but we lost it in the last 10 minutes, of regular time. So I think some of them even in ahead of time. But I think I want to be optimistic and say that we're underperforming. I like to think that our team is better than the some other sports. But as of right now, yeah, we're just trash out there, man. And it's fine. It's okay, sometimes you gotta go through the hardship to get through, to be at the end of the tunnel and come on looking more positive on it.
Well, one
So,
bonus thing is
I think
at least... Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I have one more question. Go ahead. I don't want to.
Oh, I was just going to say, at least with the MLS, teams rarely stay at the very bottom forever. Like, it seems like the table year to year flip-flops quite a bit. So hopefully this is just one bad year or half year or something, and then hopefully we flip up to the top half. Hey, one could hope.
No. Yeah.
So, what question
I
you
think
got?
our top half was the inaugural season, and I think now we're just kind of, riding that wave of the downswing. But anyways, the last question was, all right, so we collapsed in the final minutes of the game. This time, impressively, we did it without Olaf, right? So what does this say then about our current state of the team? Had we won without Olaf, would that mean that we're better off without him? since we drew and collapsed without him, does that mean that he's not the problem? I mean, again, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think the leadership right now is definitely the problem. If we would have won tonight, it wouldn't have been that big a deal because Kansas is just as bad as we are. But the fact that we are where we are, it's got to be the coach. And then if right above the coach is the GM, and that's Lutz. So you have to say we said that Carnell was the problem when we got rid of him. So yeah, it's definitely yeah. What about you, AJ? What do you think?
Yeah, let's not pretend here. The lineup was not set by the assistant coach. This lineup was set by Olaf. The strategy that was used was set by Olaf. If you think in the locker room at halftime, this was the assistants running the show, absolutely not. Olaf was in that locker room yelling at his players, deciding with his coaching staff. The only thing that probably his assistant was really doing here was maybe making subs, maybe. Now, I don't know. They could have snuck something on the iPads that they look at, and maybe there's like little text messages popping up saying, hey, bring on XYZ. Or maybe at half they had a discussion, hey, if it's looking like this, let's bring these people on. I think Olaf was firmly in control. Just like, come on, guys, like you guys know this. In baseball, a manager gets thrown out of the game. He leaves the dugout. He walks down the steps. And there's people relaying information right back into the dugout. That manager is not going to, go take a shower and not try to do what they always do. So I think had they won, I would give some credit to Olaf, even though, like Steve said, we're beating up on literally the 27th worst team in the Sporters standings. We're the 23rd. At least we were before this game. I don't know where we're at now. That's more of Steve's thing. So that's my thought.
All right, guys. Well, that's all the questions I had. We can keep going on and on this, but I think
you want to do a couple.
It's time to hear what the people have to say.
Yeah, say do a couple goal no goals, and then we can.
Yeah, let's do a goal or no goal.
Let's see. All right, Ben Bell on Facebook says, "Are you kidding me? This D is as soft as brie. Goal or no goal? We're as soft as brie right now."
I think Watson Yara are. I would say goal.
Yeah, I think that's the goal.
Did you guys see the TIFO tonight?
Briefly.
That was goal or no goal. The TIFO tonight was the best part of this game. That TIFO was on fire, literally.
I'm just going to say, I'm just going to say goal because what would you really... Well, no, Celio's goal was pretty dope, though.
It was goal dope, but that TIFO was legit.
Just because a lot of people worked on that TIFO, I'm just going to say goal to give them all the credit here.
Hell
100%.
Yeah, that sounds right. Goal.
I like it.
And then I've got from Discord, not El Tapatudo says, that pass Hardo gave Klaus to run into open space, and he took the worst shot of all time, nowhere near target. And then response to him, River City Inner City says, Hardo should have finished that shot and it would have been 3. Goal or no goal. Hardo should have just taken that shot before he passed it to Klaus, and it just went nowhere.
I am going to remove myself from this because I feel very biased against Klaus right now. So that's my answer right there.
So I'm going to say you say that's a goal then.
Yep. Man, I'm indecisive on this one. I think if this is the thing I'm thinking of, Klaus should have done better with it.
Yeah, at that shot, the Y98 announcers said like Klaus should have at least taken a dribble, taken a touch before he just shot it off into nowhere. So, I mean,
I'm not going to blame Hartle.
We're up 2 at that point. You probably figure it was just adding on, but it probably could have used an extra goal. So, yep. And Kelsey Sagato on Facebook says, well, okay, we suck. I can't keep defending this team.
Goal. I mean, so Steve, you remember, right? Last year and stuff like this, we were defending like Klaus like crazy.
Like crazy.
We defend. I don't know, we're like Superman or something. Like, we just love to defend the poor and innocent and stuff like this. But even you and I from back then couldn't defend this now.
No.
And then Andre's probably the only level-headed one here. He was already like, okay, this team ain't worth defending.
Nope. Yeah. No. It's at this point. At least we're not defending it. We're at least having a discussion. We're able to see the good and the bad and the ugly. The fact that we started off with high, mid, low, like we're able to say like what are some good things, what are some negative things. But like,
absolutely,
this is observably a bad team. Observably, this is a bad team.
Yeah.
So the only reason I would say no go to that is because you waited till this game to say that? There was a few prior that we could have said that.
Like eight prior.
Yeah, right? I'm just saying, like, you waited till now?
yeah.
All right, that's what I got, man.
Okay, guys, this was a great one. We got another game coming up on Saturday. I think hopefully just make it entertaining. You know, at this point, I'm asking literally the bare minimum from this team. Fine, if you want to lose, fine, I give up. If you want to draw, I give up. But just make it rain some goals. Make it interesting. Give me more of that Celio-ness where we get that nice little goal. I'll even take the accidental goals at this point.
Oh my God. Just so we're aware, we are going up against Minnesota, who currently is third in the West. They have 22 points. Their goal differential is +6. Our goal differential is -5. So you're going to see some goals. May not be the ones you're looking for, but you're going to see some goals scored. Holy cow.
You know what's going to happen, right? That game, we're going to basically say, hey, this is a team that's got a +6 in goal differential. Yep. I think our strategy needs to be, let's put another center back out there and let's defend. Let's park the bus. Mark my words. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
So, real quick, they've scored 19 goals and we've scored 11. So, it's going to be, it might rain. It might rain. There might be rain in Minnesota. It's going to be on us.
Well, I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
So the one thing I will push back against is, I don't know that we're going to have a game on Saturday, but we will have 90 minutes, though.
Yeah.
So, I don't know that we're going to be competitive at all.
All right, guys, we're going to send this out. So we're going to send this out the best way we can. Put our fists in the air, and we're going to spread our fingers up. We're going to go, all for City, baby.
All for City.
All for City, baby.
Oh, man.